In the quiet moments, that's where I'll find a little room to breathe, leave it all behind. Give me room to breathe, I need some time to heal my heart, to clear my mind. Gonna love myself, yeah, I believe in the power of me. Just give me room to breathe.
Hey, welcome back to another Room to Breathe podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach 614, and I am so glad that you made space to be here today. Now, before we jump into today's episode, do me a quick favor. If you're feeling the vibe, go ahead and show us some love. You can tap that screen, like, comment, and most importantly, share this out with someone who may need a little healing energy today. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I invite you to hit that follow button, subscribe to our channel, so that way you're always tapped in when a new episode drops. I also wish to personally invite you to check out our digital home at theselfcareclub.org, where you'll find everything from affirmative apparel to motivational merch and free resources to nourish your growth and remind you that you're supported every step of the way. Just know that you don't have to do this alone. We are healing in community, growing one breath, one moment, one day at a time. So today, give yourself permission to pause, to reflect, and to make space for peace, for growth, and most importantly, for you. Now, if anything in today's episode hits home, drop a green heart in the chat. It is our way of saying I'm healing, I'm growing, and I'm showing up for me. Now, let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together. Today's guest, listen, she is walking proof that when you heal yourself, you give permission for other people to heal too. Miss Angela, aka the Herbalnista, took her own journey through transformation and turned it into a calling. She built the Herbal Lounge, a space where I would say herbs and ancestral wisdom and self-care all come together. Her story, I believe, is one of resilience, creativity, and deep-rooted healing. And y'all, it's not just about what's in her products. It's about the heart and the purpose behind them. Family, help me to welcome Angela into the Room to Breathe. Angela, listen, sis, before we dig into your story, let me just first say welcome to the Room to Breathe podcast and ask, how's your spirit doing today?
Thank you for being here. And I am doing well. I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
Yes, we're so happy to have you here today. Like, I always get so excited whenever we have a new, featured voice. And so I'm like, okay, let's get into it. Everybody's like, oh, calm down. I'm like, no, girl, let's talk. Okay. So I want to, kick things off and have you start by telling us about you, who you are. And honestly, like, I always want to ask people, what does walking in my purpose mean to you when we think about healing from the inside out? So let's introduce yourself to the people.
Okay, so I am Angela, the Herbalnista. Let's start where it all started for me. 30 years this year, literally this month, in the cosmetology industry. And so that was that, and I'm still there. And it's been an amazing journey for me, dealing with women. Of course, a lot of people would understand that we're not just doing hair, we're doing a lot of things behind the chair. Sharing stories, healing, counseling. And so so that's a part of me. And then the Herbalnista, she became integrated into that whole thing. About that journey started about two some years ago. So it's been truly amazing. And so as we continue, we'll talk about some of the things on how both of those things end up meshing together to create the brand that I created.
Absolutely. And I love that. and it's one of those things where when we truly start to kind of walk in our purpose, things just flow together. It's not like, it may start with a little spark of an idea, but it's just one of those things that just kind of flow naturally, and you're like, I should have been here, I should have been doing this. And so I think that when you start to kind of align things, it starts to hit a little bit differently. It's like your spirit just knows this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So let's just go all the way back to where all of this began. At what point did you realize that, I guess, healing, because this is kind of like a holistic healing that we go through, right? So at what point did you realize that healing wasn't just about the surface changes, but required a deep inner work that needs our full attention?
So I would say that started for me 2022. 2023. First, what happened was I joined a mastermind. So I had a coach, amazing coach. And I joined that mastermind because I knew that there was something greater for me to do, but I didn't know how to do it, or what are the steps that I needed. And I just knew I needed to be a part of this community. And so I did it. The most amazing investment I've ever done in my life, because that experience is what showed me that there is a lot of things that I needed to work on within myself so that I can show up authentically. And there was a lot of blockages because I kept feeling like I wasn't good enough. I kept feeling that I wasn't, I didn't know enough. My confidence was horrible. And through that coaching program, or my coach in particular, she always would say, you only can show up with who you are on the inside. And that is what's going to show up on the outside. And so I realized that I didn't know who I was. And so that was the biggest thing for me when I was in that coaching program. I realized that, hey, Angie, you have a lot of undealt with issues that you need to deal with. And so that was the turning point for me. 2023, that was the end of 2022. 2023 came in and I just felt, I don't know, it was just, I just needed to go deeper. I just needed to know who I was. And so I called it my self-discovery journey. And I spent a year of like solitude. Like literally, I stopped. There were certain things I was doing. The only thing I didn't stop was working because I needed my bread and butter. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I couldn't stop working, but everything else, it's like I just was like, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. And it's not, and I tell people, it's not that certain things are bad, but is that necessary at this time for you? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so there's certain things I just had to stop. And in that time, I used that time to really seek God and pray and meditate and ask a whole lot of questions like, who am I? Why am I here? And why do I have the heart that I have? Why do I have these particular strengths? All of that has to do with our purpose. And I was like, so in that time, God really spoke to me and poured into me. It was a lot of crying. It was a lot of all of that. And there were a lot of aha moments because just like you said, a lot of things that we do, it's like you look at, oh, no wonder why this happened. And no wonder why that happened. Oh, it's starting to, like the puzzle, the pieces of the puzzle start to make sense.
Right.
And so that happened. And through that, one day praying and I was like, okay, so what do you want me to do? And he said, I want you to go to school for herbalism. What?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I was just
you like, that's different.
All right. That's what you want from me? That's what,
Yeah.
right now I'm in this place where if he says 10 step back, Angie, 10 step back, I'm going to trust. If he says 10 step forward, I'm going to trust. Wherever this is where I was in my life, where I literally lift my hands and say, I can't do this on my own because everything that I'm doing is just not working. I wasn't
Yeah.
feeling fulfillment. I wasn't feeling joy. I just wasn't feeling like I was doing what I came here to do, and that just was not sitting well with me at all. So when he told me to do that, I was like, okay, and I did. I immediately found a school, did all the things, and that has truly changed my life. Just going through that, the class has
Yeah.
changed my life when it comes to, because as herbalists, it's not just about herbs. We're learning also about our spiritual walk as well. We're
Right.
talking to people about how you feel. How does your soul feel? You know what I mean? It's like all of these things. So when we're working with clients, it's not just, hey, take this herb. It's, how are you feeling?
Right.
You know, what is your spiritual practice like? Are you taking time for your body? Are you taking time to rest? Are you taking, how much water are you? So it's all of that. So when you talk to our herbals, we always use this word, the holistic. It's a holistic approach to healing. It's
Right.
all of it, not just herbs.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. And I think that this kind of awakening that you've gone through, and it's not like I don't know, like people use the word awakening and then you're like, hold on, what you kind of talking about, But it's one of those things where it's always lived in us. Like God always had a plan for your life. You just had no
Absolutely.
idea what that plan was,
Right.
And so now you're waking up and starting to realize, hey, let me be obedient. This is the calling for me. I may not understand it, but I understand that it's for me,
Yes.
and so that's a very powerful thing that we all go through. Some of us sooner than others,
Yeah.
but when you
This,
finally start to wake up, you're like, wow. And
yeah.
I love that for you, it wasn't just about looking better. Like you started your own self-care journey because you're like, okay, there's things about me I don't understand and I need to do some work for me, which means we do have to separate ourselves and we do have to disconnect because the noise of the world gets to be too loud. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like you'll never understand yourself if you're constantly comparing yourself to other people and things like that, because we already deal with like the imposter syndrome piece
Hmm.
where we are our own worst critic. But if we don't disconnect from things, and sometimes that social media, sometimes it's the people in our life, like our friends, our families, the things that we watch, the things that we eat, the things that we
Hmm.
do, all of that. And so if we don't kind of separate, then it gets to be too loud and we can't hear that download, what the universe is trying to tell us. And so, yeah, I love, the fact that it wasn't just about the external, because anytime you think about like your hair and cosmetology, it becomes very vain,
Hmm.
right? But then people don't realize we do things to look better on the outside to help us feel better on the inside. But what people don't understand is we need to do things on the inside to help us look better
Yes.
on the outside, Um,
Yes.
and so I love that, your journey has led you to not focusing on the vanity piece,
Hmm.
but to really have this desire to want to feel better on the inside, so that way when you step out here into the world, it's like can't nobody tell you nothing. You know what I mean? You're like, I
Right.
got this.
Yeah.
And I think that that's an amazing shift that a lot of people still just haven't fully been able to walk into, because that takes courage, girl.
Yeah.
Okay, like that takes some true courage. I always tell people healing ain't for the weak.
No.
Yeah. So your journey led you from cosmetology, which obviously you're still in the field.
Yes.
Um, but it kind of evolved from, cosmetology into you creating the Herbal Lounge. And
Yes.
so how does your personal healing, right? Because you went on this journey for you. So
Yes.
how does your personal healing inspire your business, and how do you use that, your own experience as a business tool to help other people heal?
So as I was in school, I'm like, okay, I'm just going, I'm just doing, being
Yeah.
obedient, not sure where this is going to end up or how it's going to end up. But one thing I did say to all of my clients, which was so funny, my clients would say, oh my God, that is so cool. You're going to make hair products? And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I was like, I'm not making hair products. I want to make medicine to heal people from the inside. That
Yeah.
was what I thought. And so I was like, no, I'm not doing that. And so I'll never forget one day I'm just praying, meditating, and the Most High said, no, I want you to make a growth oil. I'm like, huh? Yeah, I want you to make a growth oil. I'm like, okay, because I'm at this place, I'm like, whatever he say,
Yeah.
I'm not questioning it anymore. I'm like, all right, then you know what's best. So he said to me, he said, you're gonna make this because it's already who you are and what you do as a stylist or as a cosmetologist. And this is going to um open you up to the world about herbs. So you're gonna do the hair growth oil, and now people will see you as a herbalist because of that.
Mhm.
And it's all gonna, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, of course you're smart like that. I,
Yeah.
I couldn't make this up. So I'm like,
Right.
okay then, no problem. So I did it. I did
Hmm.
it, and I started giving it away to clients for those that were dealing with certain hair issues and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
listen, amazing results. People were getting their hair back. Spots was coming back in. Hair was growing, and it was just so amazing. I literally cried so many times in
Yeah.
this whole process because as I see them come in, it's like, Angie, do you see a difference? I'm like, oh my gosh, very
Yeah.
emotional. And just the fact of me being obedient, very humbled, the fact that I was obedient and I did that. And so
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, whatever, just the oil.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to eventually launch. But school was getting tough. I'm still in school now. It was getting hard. And I'm like, oh, this is not happening. The launch is not going to happen when I thought. But the crazy, where I am now, I know that everything happens just the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
There's no coincidences in my eyes anymore. And
Absolutely.
so, going to school, doing all the things, extremely busy. I'm like, okay, it's going to launch not happening. Because I had to focus, I had to make a decision. I had to focus on school. I need to get out of here before I can. And
Yeah.
so I did a fast, and in that fast, I would say 3 days after that fast, I'm here at work, working on the client behind the chair. And as I'm working on the client, you said something earlier, and I love that word, download.
Download. Yes.
Girl,
I
listen,
look forward to it. I'll be like, come on, system update.
listen.
Woo,
The
yes.
download.
Hmm.
The download was coming as I'm standing doing a client's hair, and he started showing me everything in detail. So at
Mm.
that time, I was reading a book on fasting.
Hmm.
And he said to me, he said, the same way you're reading that book on fasting, I want you to go in depth about hair loss and how it affects women and how it is really a problem from the inside out.
Yeah.
I'm crying. I'm literally dropping tears, but trying not to while I'm working on the client. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So that night I got home, I started writing everything that I could remember. I went and got a book. And it was a book by Dr. Sabi. Actually, it was one of his students that wrote a book on his teaching. And when
Hmm.
I tell you everything in that book was exactly how God said it to me,
Yeah.
to the T. And then I was crying again. I was like, Oh my God. I
Yeah.
couldn't make this up. So bottom line is, as a cosmetologist, we're taught only topical issues with hair loss.
Mm-hmm.
We're only taught how to deal with that on the topical level, with treatments, with deep conditioning, with trimming the ends, things like that. Normally, and I've been in the industry for 30 years, if a client comes in with some hair loss issues, we would normally recommend them to a dermatologist and say, hey, you need to see someone that knows more.
Yeah.
And so bottom line is, as a herbalist and learning about the different systems of the body, the nervous system and the endocrine system and all these systems, that's how I got open to the fact that this hair loss thing is way deeper than topical. It
Absolutely.
has to do with the imbalances that's actually happening on the inside, whether that's through hormonal imbalances. So my three, I call it the hair talks triangle, is talking about the three imbalances or the three things that a lot of us don't know or think about when we are dealing with hair loss. And that is nutrition, hormone, and stress. Those three factors are huge underlining issues when it comes to hair loss. And so that's how it all started.
You know, and that's so funny that you say that, because those three things I feel like are the root causes to so many things that we go through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even when we think about, like, people come to me and they talk about relationships. Well, I'm like, well, what are you feeding yourself? And I don't just mean like the food, but like, what are you surrounding yourself with? What are you reading? What are you watching? You know, who are you hanging around? You know, things like that. And so it's always, you know, the what goes in. Like, yeah, you could suggest something that'll make it look pretty, but that doesn't make it healthy. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing. You know, society has us conditioned to make things presentable, to make things pretty. So we dress it up. You know, we dress it up on the outside. And us women, oh God, you know, we go get our hair, you know, fried, dyed, laid to the side or whatever, you know, because it looks pretty. And we will pile on makeup, and we will go get, you know, work done on ourselves, and all of that's fine. I mean, I'm not a person, I don't judge. If you want to have work done on yourself, have it done. But what's the reason why you want this done? You know? But yeah, we do things to make ourselves pretty on the outside, not realizing that, you know, there's still a little girl inside that is ugly crying because you're not getting it, you know? And I love, you know, based on how you explain things, that it seems like your business is really like an extension of your own healing. Right. Like, even, you know, the time that it's taking for things to launch. And you made a comment where you said, you know, everything happens when it happens. I think there's a point in all of our lives where we realize, and we have to really submit to the fact that it's not thy will, it's the will of God. Right. Like, it's not my time, it's his time. And it's like one of the things that we know, because there's really nothing we can do about it. But then when you actually just submit to it, and you're like, okay, God, okay, it's cool. I see what you did right there. You know, that's that purpose in action. And, you know, obedience is my word. You know, when they're like, why do you do what you do? You're like, because I'm obedient. I don't do everything because I like it. I don't do anything because I want to, because sometimes me and God, I'd be like, but for real, this is what you want me to do? Okay. Like, I'm gonna do it. I'll do it.
That's exactly, you hit the nail on the head, because that's how I felt about this whole thing. Like, really, how did this happen?
Yeah.
How did all this happen? Because Angie said she's not making any hair products. So how did this happen?
And then
So
God said
all the time.
He said, okay, that one's funny right there, right? He's like, look at her. Little Angie thinks she knows something.
I didn't know anything. And I'm like, oh, you're so smart.
And now you're like, oh, I could have been doing this. Like, But it's a beautiful thing when you honestly step into that willingness or that submission. And it takes faith.
Absolutely.
Because it's not easy, you know. And that's the thing. I people always look at what we're doing and they're like, oh, you make it look so easy. And I'm like, if only you knew.
Right.
You know, these sleepless nights and these tantrums and these breakdowns we have in the car and, you know, all of these things, there's definitely a lot of work in it, because again, a lot of what we do when we're walking in our purpose doesn't make sense to us. You know what I mean? It's like, it makes no sense whatsoever. And you're like, I don't even know why I'm doing this, but like, I'm out here doing it. And it doesn't make sense to me. Like, the math isn't mathing, but I'm doing it anyway.
Yes.
And then one day you're just like, oh, it all makes sense now.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about herbs. Herbs are one thing that I know is just a very powerful source. I grew up with my grandmother and my aunts were notorious for mixing things up for us, right? So you say your knee hurt, there's a little salve for that. Put this on there, wrap this around. You know what I mean? So I grew up in that household of healers. It's my biggest regret was not being able to spend time with them to learn it myself, and to learn it from them. Like, I know that I could too, you know, I too could go to school and learn some things, but I wish I could have learned that from them. So I've always been a person who believed that herbs are powerful. And, you know, pairing that, you know, with our connection to our culture and our ancestry, like, that's just a huge thing for me. So how do you bring I always mess this word up, ancestral wisdom into the healing practice and your products? Like, how do you educate people? Because it's like, you can mix something up and be like, hey, use this,
right?
But how do you tie both things so people can understand, you know, the importance of the herb and why this is useful and beneficial?
So with herbs, with my brand, of course, it is a lot about bringing in awareness to, I love what you said. I love your story about you actually having that experience with your, you know, with your grandmother and mom or whatever. And I think that is so lost. And I think that is a big part of why I am doing what I'm doing. A big part of that is to bring that awareness back to the people, you know? And so I love your story about that, because I had it a little bit, but my grandma, she passed away when I was 15. And a lot of times I wish she was around a little longer, just like you, to be able to get some more things from her. But so with my brand, it is about teaching about herbs and bringing that awareness to our community, bringing it back, because I feel like it's like something that's been so lost. We have been so now accustomed to all these other things that that are temporary, that are band-aids, you know, to situations, versus especially once I went into, you know, talking about or learning about herbs, understanding that there's a herb for every single system of the body. That just blew my mind. Like, what? The fact that the creator knew exactly what we needed, and he said, I'm going to make this for you because I know you're going to need this. That just blew my mind. And I'm like, oh my God, he made our bodies. He knew exactly what he was doing. He made the herbs. He knew what, you know, and it's like just bringing that back to the fact that there's a herb for your hair. There's a herb for your nervous system. There's herbs for every single part of our body. And I think the most important part of that is to make sure that people understand that he had you in mind.
Absolutely.
He had you in mind when he did all this. He said, it was a scripture that says the herb is the healing of the nation. All of this was all a part of what we were supposed to be doing in the beginning. But things that be, I call it, powers that be, has taking our eyes away from that, or taking us away from the real foundation of what healing really is and what it consists of.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I say all the time, like, society, we'll call it that, society,
Yeah.
has conditioned us
Yes.
to get away from that, because there's always, something new to try. They want to tell you to drink this, try this, take this, do this. And, because it's constantly in our face, now we're programmed, and we've gotten so far away from it that, when we hear people who are into herbs, we're like, oh, that's witchcraft. That's this. That doesn't work. But it does. Look at how long our ancestors were living compared to how fast we're dying now. And people just don't understand. The things that are in the Western medicine, those are man-made things that they are creating, when God already created all of these things for us before we need to tap in and understand it. And that's why I said, like, herbs are just so powerful.
They are.
And, I believe that honoring where we come from is such a big part of healing as well. And a lot of times, people, again, are disconnected from their ancestors as well, because things have been, washed away.
And that's a part of the programming.
No, absolutely. I feel like, I love the fact that I see more and more people getting back into holistic healing, because I feel like it is a way for us to carry our ancestors' medicine forward. There was a while when that's all we had, and
that's all we had.
Here we are today, so we're proof. We are living proof that, it worked. And so, I think that there's a space for Western medicine.
Absolutely.
Because again, we've evolved, and things have, like I said, things have just kind of evolved over time. And so there's definitely a need for it, but I don't think that, I think that we've become too dependent on it. And we need to get back to trying to figure out how to heal in other ways. So I love the space that you are creating, because that is something that is honestly undervalued. I hope that makes sense. Like, I think it's just something that's really undervalued. And the more that we continue to create these safe spaces for people to show up and to share, I think the more we can start to raise awareness to it. Because I mean, being a Black woman, learning how to do certain things and learning which oils and things like that work for me, or, which natural supplements and things like that I can take that will help me, that empowers me. You know what I mean? And knowing that, oh, I'm doing this makes me feel better. And then being the person that I am, as far as, promoting self-care and mental health awareness, I'm like, oh, I can see a need for this. Absolutely. Like, we need the Herbalnistas of the world. Okay. I don't know. So the other thing that I think about when it comes to your business, not comparing what we do, because we're both healers, right? But I know that healing and building a business can be messy. And so I can only imagine, mine is more of conversation and, motivation and encouragement, but like, you're creating a product and you are educating us about a product. So I know that'd be messy, because we, we don't support us as often as we should in the community, right? And so what are some of the challenges that you faced on your journey, and how or what, I feel like I already know the answer to this, but what keeps you showing up for yourself and for your community, even, during these challenges?
So, good question. Now I just know, you know what I mean? I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And now it's not about, do you like it or not? I believe that, it's the saying, just build it, they'll come. I believe that who is supposed to hear it, who it's for, and I know it's not for everyone. Who
Mhm.
it's for, they will be there. And I'm just here to do what I need to do. I'm just here to show up and do the work.
Yeah.
And and just like the Most High told me to do all the things, he got all that
Mhm.
covered. He got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I think it was a cereal commercial that I remember as a kid when it says, just make it, they will come.
Yeah.
Just do it. Don't worry about it.
Just
There was a
do it.
movie too, wasn't it like Bruce Almighty or something, where he told him like just do it. It's
Yeah.
gonna work. It don't have to
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. Anytime I meet someone new who is building something or they're cultivating a safe space, I just kind of pause and I chuckle to myself because I'd be like, "Oh, girl, I know you over there struggling," because because the behind the scenes part is not pretty at all.
It's not at all.
But I don't even care. Like in the beginning, I cared about being pretty.
Right.
Like everything being perfected and all of that. But now I don't care about the pretty. I care about the purpose.
You just said a mouthful right there because listen, no, like seriously, my personality, I'm a Virgo, so I don't know people, whatever about that, but we are perfectionists.
Yeah.
And I used to always say, if it ain't 100, I ain't even letting it out. I'm not even doing it. That was always me. And I would beat myself up, or it had to be perfect. So then guess what? Sometimes they don't even get done, or I never show up, or it never launches, or whatever. Right. And that right there, what you just said about perfection, that is like one of the biggest things I had to learn to let go of. Mm-hmm. Like, Angie, just show up. You're not here to be perfect. You're here to be authentic.
Yeah.
That's it. Not to be perfect. And I think that was like one of the biggest things for me, to let go of trying to be perfect. There's no perfect person. And I had to, but it's like in my head though, I didn't understand that, but now I really do understand it. Like, it's not about perfection. It's about being authentic, just being true, being you, being real. People are looking for genuine, real people. Even if it's 90%, just show up.
Yeah. Progress over perfection. 10 out of 10 recommend. Okay.
Yes.
And, I think that, that's one of the reasons why I even started the Feature Fridays. These are the type of conversations that I think people need to hear, right? That you can keep going even when things get hard. Each and every one of us, we have a story where we have trauma. We've been triggered. Life has lifed all of us.
Yeah.
But there is a way that you can turn your pain into your purpose. All of these things. You don't have to stay a victim of your circumstance. You can shift it.
Yes.
And so again, that's the whole part of healing. And that's why I love self-care so much, because self-care isn't just one particular area.
Right.
Self-care, there's so many pillars that go into it. And I feel like I can interview anybody and make it relevant for self-care. And people are like, how do you do that? And I'm like, because it's just real life. It's what we do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I'm very big in learning more. And that's why I get so excited when I have you guys on the show, because I'm like, I'm about to learn something new, because that's not an area that I'm, familiar with, but I want to learn, things like that. And I'm not saying that, I'm going to go to school and do this too. No, I want to learn for me so I can figure out how I can incorporate that in my healing.
Absolutely.
And, things like that. So yeah, but I really think that people need to be able to hear these stories. Because at some point you never know who's watching this, and they may see themselves in you, and they're like, there's another cosmetologist out there who was like, I was just thinking that, I should do that, or and could do that, and now they have a resource in you, and you didn't realize that God had you teaching too. You just thought you were supposed to create a product and build a brand, and God's like, nope, you're gonna teach the next generation too. And you're like, what? Yeah. So, how do you balance taking care of your own mental, emotional, and spiritual health while running this business that supports other people's healing?
Good question. That is so good because it's really the foundation of everything. And I had to learn that. Like I cannot do all of this for everyone else if I haven't done it for myself first. So it's very important, like, for me to find that space in the mornings and eat to just feed myself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
um to pray, to meditate, to journal, to do those type of things, so I can show up authentically and for the people that I'm showing up for. So it's crucial. I understand that now. Maybe 3 years ago, I didn't understand that, you know? And so
Yeah.
now I see why I felt so burnt out. I see why I felt all of those uh, negative feelings I felt about myself, because I did not do the work and take care of me first. I was giving out of an empty cup.
Yeah.
And when you give out an empty cup, you're actually giving frustration, you're giving irritation, you're giving
Resentment, all of
you're
that.
giving all these negative things because
Yeah.
you're empty. And so that is one of the biggest lessons I learned, that Angie, you got to pour into you first, and then everybody get the overflow, and then they're going to get the good because you're good.
Yeah. I always say what goes inside the cup is for me. And I know that's good because I'm not going to serve myself anything bad, right? So
Right?
what goes inside the cup is for me. But if you give me a moment, let me cook, then what overflows outside of that cup, that's for you.
Yeah.
And I'm not giving you anything that I didn't give to myself first.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's just the biggest reminder for me, because I've always heard people say, if the plane is going down, put the mask on yourself first. And I'm like, okay, but like, I got questions. Then you're
Right.
like, oh, you can't pour from an empty cup. Okay, like that. Okay, fine. Where it's like, it makes sense. But then when I finally heard what goes inside the cup is for me and what comes out is for you, I'm like, oh, now it clicks. Now I see what
Yeah.
everyone was trying to say, because I have to take that time to pour that love, that knowledge, that concern, that compassion, the time, like all of that. I have to give it to me first.
Yeah. You have
So
to
that
save
way
you
I'm
first.
busting.
Yeah. If you have to save you first, if you're not here, who's going to do it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want my tombstone to say, here lies the lady who tried to save them all. Like,
Right.
that's not going to be me. She saved herself and saved, however many she could along the way. But
Right.
I don't want to be that level of sacrifice.
Right.
I feel like I got more story to tell. Okay.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think that balance is everything. That's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned, even on my healing journey, is how to balance things. Because once I started pouring back into myself and like really doing my self-care, I had to then still balance being a wife, a mother, a daughter. And that was hard, because I'm like, how do I do all these things for these people when I've just, I've hit, 40 years old or whatever at the time. And all I want to do is focus on me. And I still got to worry about these people because I've committed. Like, it makes you second guess things. But once you find that balance, that is everything.
Yeah.
Because it is very easy to lose yourself when you're trying to serve others.
Very.
And I think that's why we, get caught up in that cycle. And then, like you said, now we resent them. We have all of this hurt and hate and, things to the people around us when it's not their fault. It's just the fact that we kept giving, and we didn't know how to say no. We didn't know how to stop the process. Yeah. I think that, boundaries are essential, but they're often like hard to hold on to. And so I know you know a thing or two about boundaries now, right? 30 years in the game, starting a new business, like you've learned a thing or two about boundaries and the importance of them.
Yes.
How would you say that boundaries have played a role in both your personal healing and in your business growth?
Cool. So let's go to personal first.
Mhm.
Yeah, I had a struggle with boundaries. I was that person that wanted to make everybody happy. I was that girl for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then one day it clicked that you can't make everyone happy, and your joy and your peace is being is suffering for that. And so and all it seemed like all of this was very, very recent for me, like in the past 3 years, like really understanding what boundaries really meant and
Yeah.
say, no, I don't have to do this if I don't want to. And I think that's a big thing, I think, for a lot of people,
Mhm.
because I think that we've been conditioned again, and even some of us in the I would say in the church field and the church realm have
Mhm.
been conditioned to think that we have to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And that's what I had learned, and I had to unlearn that, like, no, I don't, because you're actually being hypocritical,
Mhm.
to be honest, when you're saying yes and you really wanted to say no.
Yeah.
And so it's not, and so you can't get mad at the people that you said no to. You really need to get mad at yourself, because you shouldn't have said yes when you really knew that you didn't want to do a thing. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so that has been a big thing for me. And this journey of my healing journey has really helped me to understand it and to really set those boundaries with people, or even in my business. I would say I think I got it first in my business. I understood it
Mhm.
in my business first
Yeah.
because um again, I was that stylist that, okay, you want to come in? All right, it's 9 o'clock p.m. All right, come on.
Girl. Like,
And
come on
I
over.
listen, I remember, I'll never forget. It was a holiday, it had to be Christmas or one of those.
Mhm.
I worked until the sun came up.
Mm.
And people was calling, and I was saying yes. I was saying yes. I did not say no.
Mm.
But now, 40 plus, like, my peace is way more important. My health is way more important.
Yeah.
Money is not everything. I want to be able to finish work and enjoy life.
Yeah.
Enjoy life. If I want to leave here, like Saturdays now, I'm out of here by 5 o'clock.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if I want to or choose to, I can still go to dinner. I can still do things. I can just go home and relax and just chill. So yes, boundaries had to happen. Especially, I learned that more so in my business first before I learned it in my personal self.
Yeah. No, and I'm the opposite, right? For me, boundaries in my personal life, they were good. To I don't know. Like I question it sometimes. I'll say they were stronger in my
Uh-huh.
personal than they were in my business. Um, because I was constantly just letting people, if I get calls, like, okay, being a life coach. So I would get calls and I was always answering the phone all the time.
Mm,
Right. Even when I'm not good myself, I'm
you
like, hold on.
answer.
Hey, this is life coach having her own meltdown. How can I help
but you
you?
but you don't know, but I'm here to help
Yeah, hold on for 1 second. And I'm over here like bawling my eyes out, and I'm like, it's
you.
okay. They're like, where are you? Oh, I'm in the ER, but go ahead, talk. Like, you sound crazy,
Right?
Um, but it's just one of those things where boundaries are such a blessing. But again, society, we're gonna pick on society today because society will make you think that your boundaries are walls that you are putting up between you and other people, but boundaries are really our bridges to
Yeah.
connect us to the right people.
Yes.
Um,
I
and
love
you
that.
Yeah, it's our way of connecting us with the right people. Like
I
it
like
helps us with
that.
that alignment.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm so good with my boundaries now, where I
Mm-hmm.
tell people all the time, like, look, if I say I'm not home, I'm not home. I don't care if you drive by and you see me in the front yard. If I said I'm not home, I'm not home. Like, I will serve you a side eye.
Like, I don't know who you're looking at, but it's not me. I'm not home.
I'm not here. Yeah. But that's one of the things that you have to learn, because again, we are conditioned to people please. We're always told you have to do this for someone. And it started with our families. Oh, you got to do that. That's your mom. That's your brother. That's your sister. And I'm like, and it's like, why do I have to, sacrifice my happiness, my peace, my rest, whatever for somebody else? And so even today, I went and took a nap in the middle of the day because I could. And I was like, oh, I'm tired. I'm going to honor my body. I'm going to take a nap, and people were like, oh my God, you're taking a nap in the middle of the day. I worked hard for that nap.
Oh, I love naps.
Yeah, it's nothing for me. I got a whole pillow over here in the corner of my office. And I will turn these lights off. It's like the office off sign. I'll turn these lights. I'll take a nap.
Don't come in here.
Yeah. Don't come in here. I'm taking a nap. They know. They already know.
Yeah.
But seriously, boundaries are a very big thing. That I think a lot of us are still struggling with. And it's a day-to-day thing. It's not all of a sudden I got my boundaries together on Monday. Tuesday. You're gonna have to get it together again.
You're still working through it.
Yeah, we're hot messes and works in progress all at the same time, and that's okay.
I love it.
Okay. Now I know that there are many misconceptions about herbalism and self-care. What's one thing that you wish more people understood about herbalism and holistic healing through herbs that society just kind of has it twisted about, if that makes sense?
I'm trying to process that question. Say it one more time.
Yeah, let me rephrase it, because when I said it, I was like, that sounds a little confusing, Coach. Like, you understood it, but it's not coming off too well. You knew when I said, if that makes sense, in the end that it didn't.
Girl, you're so funny.
I knew. I tried to play it off and be real confident, right? Okay.
And then I'm like, can you just say that again?
You're like, I choose letter C. I'm like, there's no multiple choices. What is it? I'm gonna go with C.
Oh my goodness.
So okay, like when you think of holistic healing and specifically, I guess with herbalism, what is something like, how when you tell people who you are, what you do, you always get some pushback, and I say it's an ignorant comment in a sense that they just don't know no better.
Right.
But it's like people always have something to say when you're like, oh, I'm going to step out on faith and I'm going to do this. And they're like, oh, are you sure about that? Or, so there's always something that as we walk in our faith, and maybe it's not even in herbalism. It could just be overall with your walk. Because when we walk in our purpose, there are always people who don't understand it because it's not their walk. This is not their journey. So let me try to figure out how to formulate my question again. I was thinking with herbalism, what is something that you feel like other people misunderstand about what it is that you're doing? And that's something that you wish that more people could understand.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because I've been confused myself now. Okay, good. You say yes. Let's go.
I think I got that one.
Okay. Thank you, God.
So the thing that people misunderstand about herbalists or herbalism is that I think I shared that a little bit earlier as well, that it's only we only talk about herbs. It's not just about herbs, it's about all of the things. Herbs is just one of the things that we deal with. Of course, like if you were to talk to a herbalist or you need some assistance, a lot of times they think, oh, you just, okay, or here's another one. Or I would get these questions, or I'm here doing hair, and they're like, "Girl, yeah, I'm dealing with high blood pressure. What herb should I take?" We can't do it like that. Yeah. So because you might be on medication.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that we need to have, we need to talk about. So that's why it's so important to have actual consultations. So, because we want to talk about all the things about you. We want to know, okay, what are the medications? Because see, I can say, hey, go take hibiscus, but you might have a medication that have a contraindication to that.
Exactly.
So I can't just, yeah, girl, you got go take some hibiscus. I can't do that. We need to have those conversations. We need to know, okay, hypertension, how's your stress level?
Right.
Or what are you doing? What are some of the things that you're doing to manage stress? Because, you know, stress is here. So what are you doing to manage? What are your practices at home, your self-care practices at home, things like that. We have to have a full conversation about all the things in order to be able to help. And another thing that people don't understand when you're dealing with herbs is that it is consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency is key. You can't just, if someone say, take this tincture, tea, infusion that, and they say take it for 3 weeks, that you can just, I'll just skip this day, skip. No, it's consistency.
Yeah.
That is where you're going to see results.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think that it's so funny to me because all the key words that we talk about in every single one of these podcasts, we talk about obedience, we talk about purpose, and we talk about consistency. And people just don't understand that you can't do this today and expect healing for the rest of your life. Right. You know, and even when you think about our spiritual walk, you can't just praise God today and expect blessings for all the days to come.
Yes.
Like, you have to keep doing it. You have to keep showing up.
Yeah.
And so, it's just, it is that consistency. And, you know, there's a level of shadow work that even goes into what you do, because if people can't come to you and tell you, this is what I eat, this is what I'm drinking, this is the medicine I'm taking, this is the life I live, you know, this is the trauma from my past, right? You know, here are all these things. You would say, oh, okay, well, take this and try this, not realizing that this person is over here doing X, Y, Z. And you're like, well, no wonder it doesn't work. Right. You know what I mean? So I think that, you know, again, having these conversations, staying consistent and encouraging people to talk about it. And, you know, we don't want to hear that, right? Like we show up and I'm like, girl, Angie, help me do this. And you're like, okay, coach, you got to do this, 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 and this. And I'm like, girl, if you don't go over there and mix something up for me to fix this today, you know. But again, to keep educating people and encouraging people that, well, I am here to help you. I would love to help you, but we need to have a bigger conversation. It's kind of like me being a life coach. I have to get people to understand, like, hey, I'm here. There are a lot of things that I can help you with, but there's a point where we hit a certain mark where I say, okay, now I need you to see a therapist. I need you to go get you, a licensed counselor, because there are levels to this, and you know what I mean? Like, you need something more than me. Exactly. Things like that. And so, you know, even for you will be talking to people and you say, okay, but you stressed out and you ain't got no boundaries and you over here with all of this. Before you come over here to get this oil, I'm gonna need you to go over there and clear out some of these, you know, skeletons in your closet, because this is not going to fix that. Exactly. I don't have an oil for that level of stress. I'm sorry. But yeah.
And it's just like I have a mentor and I love what he says. It's like, we're just flashlights. We're flashlights. Yeah. To helping them to see the problems or the imbalances or whatever, and then we direct them to where they need to go.
Absolutely. I love that. Like, I always tell people, you know, healers were beacons of light, you know, and we don't always know like the answer to everything, but we can give you enough to spark, you know, because all you need for a healer to do is just to spark that light in you, because each and every one of us have a light, you know, like you said, a flashlight or a glow. We all have that in us, but sometimes we just need somebody to remind us, flip the switch on, or light this, or do this, to, you know, encourage one another, to pour back into one another. So.
Yes.
And I love that that's what we get to do, right? Even how we met. We met from me connecting with someone else, and then you saw that and was like, I want to connect with her too. And I'm like, great, come on in. You know, like, let's do this, girl. So yeah. So thinking about, because, you know, again, I'm the self-care queen. So what's one daily habit or ritual that you have, whether, you know, from your own healing journey or from your herbal practice, that you would recommend to anyone who was wanting to nurture their healing from the inside out?
Let's see. This is something that I do, and this is something I would encourage everyone to do if you can at night. I would recommend a beautiful herbal blend like chamomile, lavender, and lemon balm. To have a cup of that at night, that will really just relax you, soothe you, get you prepared for bed. And while you're sipping on that tea, get a journal and just start saying all the things that's going on the inside, what's going on the inside, rather, even if it's painful, if it's gratitude, if it's, I just don't know why this happened, just release all of that stuff. And of course, at the end, be in a place of gratitude, and just relax and just be grateful, and then go to bed. Turn off put your phone far away.
Far away.
All of those things are so important that I didn't realize. You got to put your phone so far away, because that's a lot of us are depleted from sleep because we're watching television late, or we're on our phones, which is affecting our cortisol level. And so melatonin can't come in because we got this light bright in our eyes. And so our bodies are like, am I supposed to sleep? Am I supposed to be awake?
Exactly.
So, and it's like those little things, you know?
It's always the simple shifts, right, that truly change everything. Like, even, you know, going and making, you know, just kind of like decluttering your bedroom, change the sheets, check out the colors of your room, the scents of your room. Like, now, before me and my husband go to bed, I have this one air freshener, and we mutually love it. It is so calming for us. So it's like when we get in the bed, I just do a quick few spritz of this spray, and it's just like so relaxing. And at that point, we're just like, you know. So I mean, it doesn't have to be anything big. Sometimes I think that people think that they have to do something on a grand scale in order to find some level of peace, but you don't. It's, you know, the simple things that can honestly change everything. And so it doesn't always have to be a big thing, you know, but again, it's about consistency. Like my sis said, consistency. I can't do it today and not tomorrow. You got to keep showing up and doing that. And I like the idea of the tea. I think that might be something I start incorporating, because I struggle with bouts of insomnia here and there, because my downloads are so great that my uploads can't process sometimes. And so when I'm up at night, I upload a lot. But the problem is I'm also constantly downloading more. And so I get overstimulated.
I'm very stimulated at night.
Yeah. And so I'm always looking for something extra to try to do. But again, I lack consistency with it. I'm not gonna lie. Coach got to
We're,
coach, y'all.
we're all on the wheel. We're
Exactly. Yeah. I'm somewhere on the spectrum of healing, okay? Somewhere out there. Now, for
Yeah.
our listeners who maybe feel stuck or unsure about their own healing journey, again, and we're talking holistic because there's so much that goes into healing. Um, what advice or encouragement would you give someone listening to this to just start moving forward with their journey?
I think one of the biggest thing is acknowledging that you need help or that
Yeah.
you want help, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
acknowledging those things. I think that's the number one thing. And then from there, all I can say is one of the simplest thing is just being quiet and
Yeah.
just listen.
Yeah. Be still and
It's
know.
it's it sounds simple, but I
Hmm.
know it's not that easy
Yeah.
because we're used to noise, we're used to the TV still going, we're used to something in the background, we're used to the washing machine. But if we can just find like even just some 5 minutes,
Right.
just start there and just being quiet and listen and always try to, I know it's not easy, but find something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Heart of gratitude.
Yeah, that attitude of gratitude is huge.
Yeah.
And that being still is something that I think people take for granted because it sounds easy to
Mm-hmm.
stop, to pause, to be
Mm-hmm.
still, but it's probably one of the hardest things to
It is.
do, to get comfortable with yourself. But when you finally tap into doing it, that's when you get those downloads, y'all. I'm telling y'all.
I'm telling
You
you.
when you get that offline state of mind, it's like the downloads just start pouring in and you're like,
For real.
yes. But I think that that's, the kind of reminder that somebody needed to hear today.
Yeah.
Um, and, I know that, your business, is a big part of giving people that kind of support, like that behind the scenes encouragement.
Yeah.
Um, Now, before we close things up today, I want to make sure that we take an opportunity for you to tell us more about the Herbal Lounge. I know that this is a work in progress, and we are here for it. We are encouraging it, and we support it. And I guess I want to remind you that it's going to happen when it
Yay.
happens, and it's going to be in the perfect timing. So no matter what, don't get discouraged. I want you to stay the course in it. But share with us about the Herbal Lounge. Let them know, what to expect, what you'll offer, and most importantly, let people know how to connect with you. For people who want to reach out and stay in tune and learn more about you and support you and your business.
Okay. So the Herbal Lounge firstly is birth. I love the word lounge because it's just a place for me to it's a physical place.
Mhm.
It will be a physical place in the future, the Herbal
Mhm.
Lounge, and it's a virtual space as well, and it's a store. So it's a space where we can come together and talk about healing, having teas and different tinctures and different things like that,
Mhm.
as well as the hair oils and stuff. So it's all of that, the Herbal Lounge.
Yeah.
Um, Also, I underneath the umbrella of the Herbal Lounge is my hair loss brand that is called Hair Talks with the Herbalnista. And that is the main thing that I'm working on right now. Hair Talks actually will be launching September 11th.
Come on.
And yes, it will be launching September 11th. And so Hair Talks is healing hair loss from the inside out. So
Mhm.
it's really a catalyst with hair loss, showing or teaching and bringing awareness that hair loss is the symptom, is not the problem. And
Yeah.
so it is that space that I will be able to bring that awareness that, hey, there's some, if there's shedding, if there's thinning, if there's this bald spot, it's something way deeper than that.
Yeah.
Let's have those conversations about what those things can be. And so yeah, so it's amazing. The testimonies already here. People
Yeah.
are already using the products. And so yes, the launch is happening September 11th. And you can find Hair Talks, of course, the herballounge.com. And you can follow me. I am big on TikTok, guys. I really am. So you can find me on TikTok, the Herbalnista. And you can find me on Instagram, the Herbalnista the dot Herbalnista. And then you can also find me on Facebook, the Herbalnista. So if you connect to one of those things, you'll see the content, you'll see everything that you need to see concerning the launch that is happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And y'all, I promise to harass her to make sure that she gives us the details. We'll get her to come back so we can talk about it some more. Because look, I'm excited. Y'all know I'm very big on supporting the community. And community for me is the community that I build. So I want to, make sure that we are able to bring that in for this community. It's another healing space, a safe space. And like I said, for me, I love the fact that it's not you just creating a product, which is already a blessing and beneficial, but you are bringing more awareness to things. You are educating us.
Yes.
And that's what I like, to not just put a product in the store and sell it, but to literally educate people to say, hey, it's bigger than this. And that you're going to need to do more. So I'm thankful for you walking in your purpose. I praise you for your obedience. I am here for you. I support you in any way that I can. You just let me know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And this, even, just the conversation of us meeting, like how we met and things like that. It really just reminded me that like healing isn't a look good thing. It's a feel good thing. It's a live well, show up fully kind of thing. And so I just love how you're using your gift through the Herbal Lounge. Because to me, like that's the proof that purpose can be a bridge between like your pain and your power. Yeah. Because again, we may not have gone deep into your personal story, but I know, and I not to say like I know your story, but I know that there's a story that comes from that and how you're constantly growing and evolving.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I hope that you felt seen and heard today. I hope that other people who listen to this podcast also feel seen and heard. And, my goal for us all is to just remind each other that we are healing, that we are growing, and that ultimately we're just showing up for ourselves today.
Yes.
So you guys don't forget to connect with Angela, support her work, explore her herbal products and follow her journey. Like I said, we'll get her back. This is the first time here, but I hope it's not the last time. She'll be back, y'all. We locked in now, sis. Okay. So yeah, I love what you're doing. And like I said, anything that, we here at the Self-Care Club community can do to assist that, even if it's just using our platform to help raise awareness for yours, that is what we're here for.
Oh, thank you.
So I appreciate you for taking time out of your day to join us in our community. And before we part ways, let me just share a little love and light for you and for everyone else. I always encourage you to keep breathing through the highs, the lows, and every single moment in between. I want you to keep choosing peace, even when it feels just out of reach. And again, to know that here at the Self-Care Club, you will always be seen, always valued, and always supported. So don't be afraid to take up space, to speak your truth, and to make a little room for you to breathe. You're welcome, Queen. I love each and every one of you to life. And I'm truly praying that your day is not just amazing, but aligned, intentional, and of course, on purpose, filled with purpose. Thank you again for your time, Miss Herbalnista. And this has been a Room to Breathe podcast, and I cannot wait to connect with you all again soon. Thank you so much.